All right, now to something that was said on the Senate floor last week that generated some heated backlash, condemnation, plenty of emotion. And this was a comment made by Senator Leonard Christian, Republican from Spokane Valley. He used the R word to describe those with developmental disabilities. And he did it on purpose. Not to offend anyone, he says, but knowing full well that it would bring some attention to a bill that he was hoping to put down. The bill summary here for 1390, substitute House Bill 1390. On a read from part of the bill summary, it says it eliminates the Community Protection Program and removes references to the Community Protection Program from statute effective January 1, 2027. So this basically says anyone who's in a group home setting with developmental disabilities has to be in traditional group home settings with others with developmental disabilities. The problem is those that are in the community protection program are folks that have either been accused of, charged with, convicted of some sexually violent offenses. So that was the concern that Senator Christian said, and it's why, because it wasn't getting much attention in the media, and I concede. I recall hearing about the bill. I did not pay attention to it when it was on the Senate floor last week, but because of his inflammatory comments and using the R word, which is obviously not in today's vernacular a word that's used to describe those with developmental disabilities and offensive to a lot of people. But he used it on purpose to get some attention to it. And it's worked. We're talking about it. Spokesman Review put up an article over the weekend. A lot of folks in his own caucus came out in opposition to what he said and, an official reprimand. So, anyway, I had a conversation with Senator Christian over the weekend, and here's part of that.
Is this bill really going to put these sexually violent folks in with the community that's vulnerable, who probably doesn't even know what's happening to them, who doesn't quite have the ability to fight back? And my staff's like, "Yep." I said, "No, this can't be." And then to find out that the Department of Health, this was all for this, and in fact, I received a phone call asking me to support it. I'm like, "You got to be joking me." What would you do if somebody you loved was going to be sexually, assaulted? You pull out all the stops. You do what you're sent to Olympia to do. You protect the people. And that's where I decided I'm going to cause a little trouble, a stir on the floor. And again, I never meant to disrespect folks. The term that we used on the floor, I mean, gosh, up until 92, the ARC used that in their name and their title. And it's still all over the internet. And it wasn't meant to be disrespectful or hurtful to anybody. It was to and get some attention from the mainstream media on how horrible this bill was going to do. And look, if you had the choice between a hurtful word and physical harm, where are you going to go?
As I mentioned, his use of the R word drew condemnation from his own party. Fellow Republicans in his district, which is the fourth district in the Spokane area, issued a letter, basically saying we don't support what he said at all. This is, not language we want used by anyone in our caucus. Um, and so Senator Christian told me he wasn't so much bothered by the condemnation. He gets the way these things work and that they probably had to come out with some sort of a statement condemning what he had said. That part didn't bother him. But he said what bothered him is that um, while they're reprimanding his verbiage, they weren't at the same time putting equal or even, an increased emphasis on how bad the bill is, in his opinion. So he's very worried about putting these, sexually violent people in with others who are vulnerable potentially to being taken advantage of. So I did write up that story. It is right now live on our page at thecentersquare.com/Washington. So you can see more of that and additional comments. And I would welcome any feedback you have as well on that article.